We are
You guys,
recording. Good morning. It's February 7th, 2017. We're starting the official part of the Divvy Community meeting, and I didn't get around to filling out too much in the agenda today. It's been an exciting week. The first report is unconsiderate, and this week I added a fair number of projects to this. Let's sort them by newest. Okay, and over the weekend I installed a version of Sandstorm on a DigitalOcean host, which will hopefully be shared cooperatively by Divvy, CoCloud, and OurChain. They each have, have their separate grains, but they have an interoperable community, and we expect that we'll ultimately be able to federate that pretty easily. Sandstorm just released their scaling server code, and are no longer charging for the Sandstorm at work, which is federated logins. So we'll be moving again our Slack from the Oasis public Sandstorm to our own community-based hosted Sandstorm version. And one of the grains that we're developing as a one button install for Sandstorm is the solid node and web ID. The move-in decentralized social networking, which supports chat and video and audio, and almost does everything that the Jetserio project of Scenario wanted to do, and integrates a huge amount of content and communities in a federated manner using the XMPP and WebRTC standards. Projects we are working on, the CoCloud cooperative cooperation. I don't know what I have under here. Kendall had a lot bad to say about this wording. Hasn't been fixed yet. We do need to state better the function of CoCloud, which is really just sharing community of users and developers, workers and users, with several overlapping projects with OurChain and Divvy so far, and maybe many more. uh, expose my machine safely via SSH tunnel is taking off from the scenario nodes project, and using Sandstorm for a one-button install of any application or node that you want a user to be able to install on their machine. So all the things, all the different services in the Divvy toolbox can be packaged as Sandstorm grains and installed with a one-button push, along with things like Rocket Chat and WordPress and other things. Now, the WordPress integration is not great, but you have spreadsheets, you have Google document alternatives, you have meeting scheduling times, calendars, and we will add, we're looking at adding to this other things like Move-In and Solid, which we can run on a cloud server, or we can run on our own machines with a click of a button. And that's what's new. Certainly, bounty payment system is also something that we can do in cooperation with CoCloud Cooperative. Some of us should join the cooperative. Bring your own identity. Paul and I got to the point of upgrading the glue server, and then we're unable to start it. Now, we've had issues with it not starting before when we've made changes in it, and the problems sort of cleaned themselves out after a couple of restarts. But it looks, you know, we decided that this week we're going to install it from scratch. And we could, you know, we haven't done that much configuration on it. And we also decided to work on solving the resolving the problem with the installation of the mod auth OpenIDC following Irving's instructions. And if we have a problem, we'll give Irving another bounty and amps to fix it for us. We may want to do more with Irving because we've been moving so slow without his assistance. I didn't put it all on the and I think that covers the updates from Consider It. It still needs a curator role filled for Consider It in order to clean up the projects and categorize them and make it more sensible. So the so on our agenda, I only added the new cooperations. Report on CoCloud. basically covered the Divvy Dow email. Actually, Plant Eater and I worked on that yesterday. And we sort of decided to and we might get Urban to help on that, or we did get some help from Brian. But his solution is that we need to get our own separate IP address for each domain. And it looks like DigitalOcean doesn't even offer that. And we know that mail can be working for the machine. And one thing I wanted to try is freetrust.net is the mean shape, is the main machine. So we fix freetrust.net, reverse DNS, SPF records. That may fix the issue if we straighten out the stuff for freetrust, because when they look up the machine for Divvy Dow, they find freetrust.net, and if it's SPF and stuff is not set up right, the mail will be rejected. So the in the CoCloud Sandstorm Arena, we have the the transition of Divvy. Okay, now what I've done is at Oasis, I've added the Divvy Rocket chat and a Divvy apps collection, which has a calendar, which I don't think I put anything much on here. No, there is some stuff on here. We have the we have a sysadmin working group. $10:30. That's weird. We have our identity working group. And we have the Divvy weekly meeting. But this is on Oasis. It's not on our own hosted system. Under the You can see the Code Cloud operational agreement here done in, I think I showed you Sandstorm last week, right? Quiet. I don't hear anybody.
Yes, you did.
Okay. So on the on our own server, I haven't set up any of the Divvy groups yet. I set up an R-chain rocket ring, and I wanted to. So the aim is to cooperatively use our co-hosted Sandstorm for both for our chain, the co-op, and also move the Divvy here instead of to Oasis public server. That way we have control of the admin environment. And what I did on DigitalOcean was created a co-cloud group with members from Divvy and CoCloud. And the people who are helping us with the admin, Brian and Irving. I don't think Irving's in here yet, I guess. Well, yeah, Irving's in here. Irving. So now we have the Proven Secure group where we're putting the stuff owned by Proven Secure, and the Code Cloud group where we're putting the stuff that we are cooperating on the management of for our open source efforts, so to speak. So the issue is okay, so even the CoCloud group, nobody's using our hosted server now. How do we get people to move over and create the grains there to support our community and start eating our own dog food, so to speak? You know, if this is going to be the deployment environment for all of our nodes, for all of our, if this is where we're going to deploy our, have a one button install for our MaxForce nodes and our chain nodes and our solid nodes and move-in nodes and etc. We need to start building our community there. Who do we lose?
Bob.
Yeah, we lost Bob.
I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
You think I scared him away?
No, I don't know. He seemed to be having problems with, I don't know, when he first came in, right? So, all All right. So, yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anything on CoCloud Sandstorm that you want to bring up?
Not for me. I mean, I have to get up to speed on all of this stuff. I've been working on other things. So, but I will.
If we look at, I guess we can look either place. If I go, okay, what we have on our own grain here, CoCloud Sync.io, is we have access to an admin panel, okay, which we don't have on Oasis. And so we can look at our users here, and we see there's only 3 users, and I don't think Radu's ever, he signed up, but he never really used it. And Tim and myself. That's it. When somebody comes added to an app, they become a visitor. They can't add their own apps. The first link I gave is a link that makes them a user, and that's temporary because we really only want to invite users by email. They have to join our organization before we can just let them create apps at whim. But the visitors can have full access to the grains they've been invited to. So if a person gets invited to somebody's Rocket Chat, they can be a full participant in the Rocket Chat. They just can't create new Sandstorm apps. So, I guess Radu came in as a visitor, and I promoted him to a user. And we have 3 admins now. CoCloud Co-op account, myself, and Tim.
So is this a protocol that you've imposed on the system, or is that something that's just built into it?
This is just built into it. Okay. That's the way it works, and it's the way it has to work, because if everybody that came on could create 100 apps, you couldn't possibly support it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't allow people to create apps unless they're cooperating with us. And for the co-op, that means paying dues of $5 or $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or some other kind of reciprocity between Archain, Divvy, and CoCloud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could share the expense of the server, for example,
mm-hmm.
and support whatever. And
Well,
the Divvy Dow email, I reported on that already.
no. But you might also give us an update on moving the archive in Slack.
I decided not to do it.
Really?
Yeah, I tried, failed. We just leave the history in Slack.
So it doesn't disappear, it just goes into...
Yeah, we have to just stop using it so we don't lose anything. In the meantime, we have some backups of what we had.
Okay. So we're not going to lose that history.
We're not going to lose the history. Okay, and, we need it, We just have to nudge people to move over from time to time in the Slack. You know, remind them. And I want to do an announcement and an emailing to all the Slack members at some point once we have enough set up. We just put a link in the email for them to join our new awesome environment. The new awesome Divvy environment on Sandstorm. We run ourselves.
Okay. So we can reach out to all 80 of the community and bring them over if they're willing.
Right. Adoption. I'll put in here emails. Action item of email Slack participants. Okay, and the Divvy DAO email situation. I know I just went over this. Plain Eater and I worked on it yesterday. We're looking at getting help from Brian or Urban. I set up. We set up a Mailgun account. And we get 10,000 free emails a month. Using their SMTP server, and I was at a loss. You know, my brain was fried yesterday with Plain Eater. I didn't understand what we had to do to make that work, and we have to set up the relay. Okay, that should fix the problem. The problem with setting up the relay, the problem with that is it only fixes the one domain. It doesn't fix all of them on the machine. So we'll still have a problem. But the Mailgun connection is working. It's configured properly. It's a trusted right now we're losing email. We're untrusted provider. And this is a big issue that everybody's having. They're not trusted, SMTP. And in the spam war, if you're not trusted, you don't get through. And that's what's happening to us. And if you don't have everything exactly right in the configuration, it's not going to work. We really do want to run our own SMTP though, because Mailgun is a point where it's sort of just it's intermediated in that our email traffic is exposed to Mailgun, which we don't want. But if it makes things work for now, it's fine. We can change. Once we have our own SMTP provider working well and trusted, we can switch easily off Mailgun. I didn't get a chance to move the action items from last week forward, and we may want to go over them. Go over that sheet and make sure that they've been covered. I only put one agenda item here. I guess we'll finish this first, and then we can look back at those action items. The agenda item that I added is on cooperations. What is this? There's, I guess, really two key things that we have here. One is the Sandstorm Community and I copied some conversation from the CoCloud Rocket Chat below, but Sandstorm open sourced all their proprietary stuff and have sort of set up a roadmap for participating in the community. And we want to get open source community involvement in developing the grains that we want. And so participating in that community becomes important. I think bounties for who or in a stars in collaborations. Okay, the thing that struck me is how there's so many groups trying to do exactly what Divvy is trying to do. And there's really a hell of a lot to do. We want to build an application ecosystem that's evolutionary. And that implies a lot of activity. And probably the big thing that is the Collaborative Technology Alliance. Okay, CTA. This alliance is bringing together a large number of projects that we've been very interested in because of their compatibility with Divvy principles. They've given a roadmap, so to speak, for collaboration. And so I'm going to, be a Divvy ambassador there of sort, but we also, we need to identify people working on the same thing, people with the same goals. That's where we don't want to have redundant development. We want to help coordinate the development of the things that we want to use. The Sandstorm community has a roadmap as well. And we need a coordinator to coordinate with them. And it's not just having a coordinator, it's having a coordination team that of at least 2 people that bring their own perspective to coordinating with the community so that we have a collective intelligence, so to speak, and communicate regularly and report regularly so that the team of coordinators for Sandstorm or CTA or CoCloud or RChain or any of the, we need, in essence, to staff coordinators for each collaboration we have in order for them to be effective and synergistic. I think our outreach bounties, which we've already allocated in Divvy, should be brought back more into focus to collaborations add collaborations to outreach bounties. Maybe we can offer ramps, since Divvy tokens may not be that compelling. What we have now in research is our public channels, okay, which more or less, addresses our social networks that exist, okay, but it's relationships among the developers that makes open source work, according to studies. Relationships between the people turn out to be a much higher motivational success factor than paying people, which is sometimes counterproductive to an open source effort. So one strategy that I was looking at was in the task board was to create a team. Oh, I'm not showing the screen. Was to create a team uh, column. Okay, so that we can develop teams that communicate regularly and report each week for each of the things we're involved with, each of the things we do. And here, outreach, this is our public channels again, the Twitter and the Reddit and the Steam and the communities that we're dealing with there. Um, and I guess, our collaborators as well go into that. I mean, this is a team that is managing our sandstorm and our use of Oasis, so to speak. Okay, so, I mean, if we're going to scale, we can't have everybody involved in everything. And so there has to be teams that job share these things because nobody has time to do everything themselves. And budgets need to be allocated for teams, which can distribute them according to the agreement within the team. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to change this to the Divvy. We can task board because CoCloud wants to port their task board over from Oasis. So this becomes the Divvy We Can task board, and I'm going to add to this a rocket chat for. Oops, what did I have there? I already I already have an untitled rocket chat here. Now I have another one. Okay, well, I'm going to make this Divvy rocket chat grain. Okay. And I'll use my standard username. And I'm going to add a collection which will be the Divvy collections. And I'm going to add to that our task board. Going to add to that our rocket chat. And I don't think there's anything else I need to add. I'll add to our members calendar. This is shared between all three communities, the members calendar. Sort of anybody can put anything on the calendar. It's not the official calendar for anything. There's a problem with this calendar interfacing to Google Calendar. It works fine with the Firefox calendar. And I guess other calendars, but for some reason it doesn't work with, at the moment, it doesn't work with Google calendars, which limits its use. But these are the things we want to improve. We want to work with the calendar, the open source community, to get this fixed. Maybe you'll offer bounties. Since we want that capability, we don't want to be dependent on Google calendars. The same thing with Etherpad. You know, it has its deficiencies. We want to get off Google documents. You know, we want those fixed. And the same thing with EtherCalc. Nice spreadsheets, but we want the same collaborative features that we have in Google Sheets. And eventually wean off of those services. So we got something done. Sort of. I can share access to this. I can get a shareable link. I can get full access. I can create a link. Copy the link. And I can go to our Oasis Rocket Chat. What is this? Oh, this is wrong here. This is our chain. Our chain. Okay, our chain rocket chat. What? I added Divvy rocket chat. Rocket Chat. I didn't know he had the Rocket Chat. Okay. And I will add to our drain the R-chain Rocket Chat. And, which means anybody in Divvy can access R-chain. Defaults again with permissions in Sandstorm are that when you create a grain, nobody has access to it. They only get access to it by you explicitly giving access. And the collection here is a way that we can give members access to grains. And we might have different collections for different levels of users. For example, Code Cloud has a not here, but Code Cloud on Oasis has a admin group collection as well as a user collection. Okay, so did you look out at all we can over the weekend? We can do this, and you can. I think we can create a max force board. I think that would be a good way to handle the max force stuff as well. And we get a good log of what's been done. And when anything's been modified, here it lights up, shows me that there's been activity. And what besides integrating identity and security, Sandstorm integrates notification capabilities so that you get notifications in one place for all the apps, which is pretty cool. And we have to get the email fully working before that can happen. And we're untangling the email issues now. I guess the bottom line is we have to run our own SMTP server, and we need a wildcard. We need a wildcard domain. Didn't we buy a wildcard domain for something? I feel like I remember somebody buying one for some purpose. But I suppose we should have one for Divvy. But for CoCloud, if we get one for CoCloud, right now for the name services, we're using Sandcats, which is Sandstorm's free service. And right now it doesn't allow us to set up the SBF records and things that we need to get our email trusted. So we do have to run our own SMTP server. We should probably run it cooperatively. Why should everyone have to go through the headache when the CoCloud, Divvy, and our chain community can share an SMTP provider? So, but all right. Let's make a quick overview of the um, the I didn't go over the art chain. I consider it. I think there's nothing new from last week. Oops. But what we want is last week's agenda. Oh, what's going on here? That would be the 31st. And the considered items were added. Sandstorm for our chain. I took the first steps there. I've gotten no feedback from Ian, who's sort of the sysadmin for our chain, and no participation yet in the rocket chat I set up for our chain that I can see. I gave this. My bet is the OXD server will be free soon. The same reason Sandstorm released their stuff. But we're handling the OpenID separately. Oh yeah, and we also will have a SAML requirement. Glue supports SAML, so we'll need to test that and use SAML with Sandstorm because that's the language that Sandstorm speaks right now is SAML. So we create an OpenID, but we do a SAML authentication to Sandstorm. Don't ask me, but SAML is very powerful in terms of its authorization markup language, which is very general and very powerful. So it's not a bad thing to have to use SAML. But we want to, do OpenID as well. Okay, so I haven't talked to Alana from Inspiral. I mean, this whole Collaborative Technology Alliance includes all the groups that Alana's involved with, the Lumio and the Inspiral and all that stuff. So our cooperation with the Alliance is sort of how we can connect with Alana, I believe. Get bio info, I didn't do that on Alana. Okay, I try to make all the action items red, so they're easy to pick out. Okay, and in terms of web space for filling roles, I guess the closest thing I came to is this team thing here, where I'm hoping we can get people who want to work on these different areas to sign up and add themselves to the team. And we need to add teams here that we need, and maybe have a separate board for outreach. Okay, we can't put everything on one board if we're going to do a lot of things. So we have the outreach team here, and then we have a link to a separate board for outreach. Perhaps. So I guess we have to find people that are interested, and if we can get people to give their opinions and consider it, we can reach out to those people who support a particular project and see if they'll take responsibility. And we don't use the word managers anymore, we use coordinators. Or team members. Um, okay, anything else on we have another potential collaboration here, which hasn't been handled. Oh, I don't think so. Um, it looks like it's commercial product. But that doesn't mean we know how to deal with commercial projects. Okay, we want to give away the car free and charge for the accessories. So if they're talking, so the core technology part, that's part of the car, we want to be free and open source. But the part of it that's an accessory, we want the people who develop that part to be partners in the rewards that that product offers. Okay, that brings us to the open forum.
No, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
might,
Jim,
Kendall, because we talked off the record before about your work on the.
Yeah. So I'll get back to you on that. I'm going to have to leave at this point. So, all right, everybody, good to see you. We'll be in touch.